And then I came to America, went to Goldman Sachs on Wall Street for 2 years, Harvard Business School, then worked for Rupert Murdoch as his right-hand man in New York.
Literally?
Literally. I carried his bag. I went to every meeting. I helped write speeches.
How did you get introduced to him? By your family?
You want to know that story?
Yeah, I do.
I was dating a gorgeous redhead, and I hadn't got a job lined up for, everyone had done these interviews.
American redhead or South African
American redhead.
Okay.
New York redhead.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Good.
And
they're crazy though, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah, but this is good crazy.
Okay, good.
And she said, "What are you going to do after business school?" I said, I don't know. I'd like to get into the media business. And she said, "Oh, you should meet Stan Schumann. He runs he's one of the Allen and Company heads." Remember, this is 1989. I had the most extraordinary interview.
With Stan?
Wait. I went to see Stan Schumann at Allen Company. Stan said, you're Rob, you want to be in the media business. I'm a media investment banker. So you're in the wrong place. You need to actually consider News Corp. And I'm on the board of News Corp. He was at the time. And I'm going to introduce you. Before you meet Rupert, you need to meet John Evans. He's the visionary. I haven't said a word, by the way. I've said hello. I haven't said a word. So he calls the secretary, says, "Call John Evans, tell John I'm sending Rob Hersov, South African, to see him." Gave me the address. I shook his hand, left, haven't said a word. Walked down to Harper's and HarperCollins, which is owned by News Corp. As I walk in, there's a stringy-haired, grey, older guy who goes, "Before you say anything, let me tell you, I'm a reformed alcoholic and drug addict, and I'm marrying a girl half my age." I almost dropped on my knees and said, "I'm your man." But I still haven't said hello yet. And he starts telling me about the future of the media business. He goes, in supermarkets.
What year is this?
89.
So in supermarkets, I'm following.
Still at Harvard Business School. So he says, in supermarkets, the fish need to be near the chips. And he's talking about these weird things. For 20 minutes he talks. I still haven't said a word. And he said, "Well, if you want to work for News Corp, you've got to meet Rupert." So hold on. Calls Rupert, said, "I've got this guy, Rob, from South Africa, Harvard MBA. Yeah, sorry about that. He can come and see you right now." Gives me Rupert's address, 1211 6th Avenue. Sends me. Still haven't said a word in my interview. Get to Rupert, walk in. He goes, "You must be Rob." I go, "Yeah, please sit down. Rob, what do you think the future of the media industry is?" And I go, "Technology?" And he goes, "No, it's content." And then he spoke for 15 minutes about why content, which was correct. And then he said, "Okay, you're hired. What are you going to do for me?" I've said one word in 3 interviews, and I've got a job.
Just because of Stan, because of
just because of the redhead.
So this redhead, why is this redhead so trusted?
Because her father and Stan were best friends. So she got me the interview. He assumed I went to Harvard Business School.
Goldman. Military, infantry, South Africa. So when you work with Rupert, what was it like to work with? And how much time did you spend with him?
Every day.
How was it like to work with?
So what I do
right now what I just did is 1989 net worth, Rupert Murdoch. At the time was 725. So he's known. He's a power player. But Fox News hasn't yet started, right? Right.
So I spent 2.5 years with him.
Okay.
And he'd hand me, everybody wanted to get in front of Rupert Murdoch. So they'd all be going, "Rupert, could you look at this opportunity, this deal?" He'd have a pile of decks and things on his desk with a little note of who gave it to him. And then every Monday morning, he'd kind of have a look and he'd say, "This guy's an idiot," throw them in the bin. And then he'd go, "Okay, this guy's important, read that." And he'd give me 3 business plans every Monday. And I'd have to come back and on Friday have to present them to him. He'd ask me 3 to 5 questions on each one and immediately know the value, how it would fit into his empire if he was interested in it.
This is about buying those companies and investing in those companies.
So in those days, Christian music was taking off, but country music was barely known. And this guy, Jim Garcia, I can't believe I remember the name, from Nashville, had sent this buy into country music TV. I did the analysis, presented to Rupert. He asked me 5 questions, and he used to rub his forehead. And he said, "Offer them $30 million, not a cent more. If they don't take it, move on." It's now worth many billions. And he could analyze things that quickly. He was also a real man of the people. He talked to the elevator guy. He talked to in those days, we just walked down and get a taxi.
Was he charismatic?
Charismatic, funny, decent.
Charming?
A common man. Charming, but not interested in money, not interested in, important people. He was interested in humor and being successful and building his business.
What were 3 to 5 questions he would ask?
I wish I'd written them down. Oh, genius. I wish I'd written them down. And so I spent 2.5 years with him. And then he said to me, when he ran into trouble, he tried to buy Time magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they did the merger with Warner. He was running into big financial troubles then. And he said to me, okay, you need to go with Barry Diller to LA and work with him on setting up the Fox network.
So you were there when that whole deal was being done?
The Time Warner mess, the bidding
Did you ever
for Time.
meet Ailes? Were you ever around Roger Ailes?
I didn't meet Roger.
Never met Roger.
No, he was after me because he kind of came in from left
Were
field.
you around Rupert's kids, the boys?
Not as much. They were pretty young.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
But Rupert, you know, when you were with him, you're the most important person in the world. He'd concentrate, listen. And I remember one story he told me. Can we go off piece?
Sure, of course.
We went to, and I can't remember who, somebody's 80th birthday in this expensive 60th, you know, 6th Avenue, no, 5th Avenue apartment. We walk in, and Rupert says, I'm going to give you a life lesson. See those people walking towards me as quickly as they can? They're the guys who want to sell me something. But if you look in the corner, there are 2 guys talking to the host's children. They're the people you need to talk to. They've made it in life. Isn't that interesting?
Wow. The people that are running to come to me
Are trying to sell me something.
trying to sell me something, but the people that are talking to
They're interested in what the host's kids
are doing. Those are the ones that have made it in life.
Yeah, talk to them. They'll be the most interesting ones.
Very interesting. Very interesting
And he was
perspective.
nice to the common man. You know, if the Queen had offered him a knighthood, he would have turned it down. He wasn't interested in that stuff. He and Elon Musk, I'm a libertarian, conservative, Judeo-Christian. He and Elon Musk, we owe an eternal debt of gratitude to. Because Rupert came in with, you know, Sky Television, Sky News, Fox TV, the New York Post, and he captured the center right, free market, capitalist, Judeo-Christian part of Americans' media. And Elon did the same thing when he bought Twitter and turned it into X.
And so one is from Australia, one is from South Africa.
There we go.
So have you spent any time with Elon Musk?
I met him once at SpaceX,
Okay.
a 20-minute meeting.
What was that-
Fascinating
what was that
story.
like?
It was extraordinary because his assistant said, look, your South African will give you the lunch slot, but it's only 20 minutes, only does 20-minute meetings. He arrived on the 2nd, and I said, well, we better order lunch. He said, no, I've ordered already. Turned up. And then he spoke about Tesla and the problems he was having, and it was 15 years ago. And with 2 minutes to go, I knew it was 20 minutes and he leaves. I said, Elon, how can I help you? And he looked at me in this weird way and he went, no one's ever asked me that question. And he said, okay, if you hear or see me do anything stupid, let me know because I get no feedback.
If you hear or see me do anything stupid, I get no feedback.
Tell me because I get no feedback.
It's funny because one kid who's a YouTuber, brilliant kid, goes and visits his SpaceX, gives him one feedback on things. Have you heard about the story or no? One kid goes, gives him one small feedback on what to do. Elon invites him down, takes him and shows him and says, look at the change that we made based on a feedback that you gave because he saw a video of this guy. It's a very, Rob, do you know the story or no?
No, I'm looking for it now.
Yeah, it's a very fascinating story of,
But Elon's attention to detail, he cares. He's extraordinary. And I just say, thank you, Rupert. Thank you, Elon.
YouTuber's question made Elon Musk completely rethink SpaceX rocket. The YouTuber Everyday Astronaut was on a tour of the SpaceX Starbase facility. He asked a very intelligent question and certainly gave Elon Musk pause for thought and opportunity to fix his vital error. This is a year and a half ago. What's the question, Rob? Let's see if we can find it. Original I realized and made a vital error. The intelligent everything else of Tim was asked at exactly right time for the billionaire to realize that his error and crucially corrected. You don't even need a cold gas thruster system. You already have hot gas, says Musk. But this is only for the booster, right? Tim asked. Go a little bit lower. And appearing deep in thought, the SpaceX founder and CEO replies, arguably, now you mention it, it might be wise to do this for the ship too. We're going to fix that. And it's not the first time Musk has taken on project feedback. Tim was visiting SpaceX Starbase in 2021. However, upon being invited back, more than 6 months later, it was revealed SpaceX chief, Elon Musk, that his question led to vital changes. Wow. I mean, this is
extraordinary guy.
Yeah. There's a story about Sam Walton. It's a great book called Made in America, where Sam, is going all over the world looking at all the markets that are being made, and he pays close attention. And one day he's at this place in Europe, and the lady comes in and says, what are you looking for? So I'd like to, find this. So let me get one of my associates to help you. Says, what did you call your coworker? Associates. Great. We're going to call our employees associates. Then there's these two business partners from Brazil who are in the same business as he is. They come to visit Sam Walton. He picks them up on a truck. All day they spend time with Sam Walton. He says the entire time, Sam kept asking us questions of what we were doing in Brazil that was working out. By the time it was done, us spending time with them, we didn't learn anything about Walmart, but he learned everything about what we were doing, and then we went back to Brazil.
That's Rupert Murdoch.
Got it. Makes sense to me.
So we'd be riding in a cab, because we hop in a cab now and again in those days, and he'd ask the cab driver, what newspaper do you read? Which page do you turn to first? He'd absolutely ask. Curious. Curious, yeah.
So South Africa.
Well, I'll give you quickly my bio.
Please, go for it.
And I'll do this really, really fast.
So you're a billionaire. You made a lot of money.
In Rand.
Yeah. Which is
and the Rand's depreciating.
Which is how much in ours?
Oh, it used to be 1-to-1 in the 70s, but now it's 20-to-1.
20-to-1.
Yeah.
Okay,
got it.
So you made money. You made money. You've done okay for yourself.
Yeah, I founded Marquee Jet in Europe. I built a big business, Sportal, the biggest sports media internet business in Europe, which failed. So I had a lot of learnings there. I sold Marquee Jet Europe to NetJets, was vice chairman of NetJets. I'm still a senior advisor to VistaJet, so I love the aviation business. And then I've done some very big deals. I owned a third of Air Berlin. And I just won a very big license this morning to do a betting exchange in South Africa.
You're the first?
I'm the first.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So Betfair in Australia is the most profitable business in Australia. We have just won the license to do the same.
Fantastic. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And
I've done a whole lot of other things. I see you've got a lot of sports teams here. I love rugby, so I'm going to have to get you a Springbok shirt. But I owned Vicenza Calcio in Italy. I'm the first foreigner to buy a football team in Italy. I owned it for 2 years.
How was that?
It was one of those businesses that had a tiny profit, a tiny club. And Vicenza, if you're driving in Italy from Milan to Venice, you go past Verona, and there's one little turn-off to Vicenza, which no one notices. You go straight on to Venice. I owned Vicenza Calcio, Vicenza Football Club. And the only piece of silverware they ever won was a month after I bought it. They won the Italian Cup, beating Napoli 1-0.
Wow.
Now, today, every restaurant I go to in London, Italian restaurant, they go, Mr. Presidente. They give me the best table.
Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic. I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker. You question things. You like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New Future Looks Bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright.